Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new edition of Got a Story for You. I'm Phil Junta, your host, writer, and occasional story narrator on this channel. I'm going to keep this one brief because unfortunately I'm just getting over a severe summer cold. Actually, it's con crud. I picked it up at shore leave, 46 about 2 weekends ago, and it's still clinging into me, but I'm about 80% better, but it's almost out of my system. But we had a wonderful time at shore leave. It was this sort of part two of my book launch for Dreams from the Edge of Reality, my short story collection that just came out on June 1st. Of course, part one of the book launch was at the Lehigh Valley Comic Con back in June 6th and 7th or 5th and 6th. Whatever that weekend was, it was a 2 day show. Great time. Shore leave, also a great time. Sold a lot of books, caught up with a lot of old friends and some new ones as well. But it was bittersweet because just a few weeks before the con, we lost a dear friend, someone who had volunteered for shore leave for almost 30 years. She was most recently, in the last 15 or so of those years, the co-con chair, as well as the one who arranged all the author track programming, invited all of the author guests, and her name was Dr. Inge Heyer. And Inge was an astronomy professor at Loyola. In fact, if you'll allow me to share my screen here with you. Um, Inga had passed away at the age of 65. Like I said, about a few weeks before shore leave, right around the end of June. She was the one who invited me to shore leave as an author guest. I had known her only about 2 years before that, when I started attending shore leave in 1996. And then a few years later, I got to know Inga, and then once I began my writing journey and was first published in 2009 with my novel Testing the Prisoner, the following year, 2010, I reached out and just said, "Hey, could I possibly get maybe a few a table, at the book fair, at the Meet the Pros book fair on Friday night at shore leave, and maybe be on a few panels?" And that turned into, "Why don't you just come as an author guest?" And ever since then, I've been an author guest. It's been about 15 years now. So she was kind enough to do that for me, and she was a good friend. In fact, to the point where I'm going to share something else with you here just a second. You're gonna get a kick out of this. In 1998, when Leonard Nimoy was on his book signing tour for his book I Am Spock, one of his stops was the Montgomery Mall in Pennsylvania. Now, Inga, living in Maryland, asked if she could stop up and crash at my house. I was living just outside of Philadelphia, and I was planning to go to this book signing. And she said, "Well, I'd like to go with you." So together, we went with our friend Vince Mayako, who unfortunately passed away just earlier this year. Um, but we went together and got to the Montgomery Mall at 8 a.m. 8 o'clock in the morning, we were there because Inga was anticipating a massive crowd for Leonard Nimoy, and it really didn't start building a crowd until about 9 a.m. or so. His signing was at 10. And so Vince and I went through the line. We got a couple of Star Trek things signed, but of course, a copy of the book. That was the main purpose for Mr. Nimoy being there. And we sort of got out of line, but Inga, being the much heavier collector, much more avid collector than I, or even Vince, who was also a collector, she was back in line again and again and again to get more things signed. And at the end of the day, the manager at Walden Books, recognizing the fact that we, in fact, were the first three people there at 8 a.m., did ask Mr. Nimoy if we could have a group photo with him. Inga might have requested it. My memory's faded on that part. I don't really recall. But the manager of Walden Books, who I believe is one of the women standing behind us in the chair here, behind the chair, put in a good word and put in the request, and Mr. Nimoy was kind enough to grant that for us. So that was again 1998. So Inga will be missed. She was a integral part of shore leave, integral part of the astronomy community and science community. She was a science communicator. She led science presentations and panels at shore leave and Farpoint and other places as well. So just a true fan and fixture in the fandom community, and she will be missed. So want to just take a moment to pay tribute to this longtime friend of mine. So very sad and very sudden passing. What else? The next item I want to bring up was in relation to my short story collection that I held up earlier was something really cool. And let's see if I can share my screen with you again here. Was I woke up this morning, just this morning, to be told that Dreams from the Edge of Reality was a winner in the 2026 Summer Best Book Award by Pencraft. I submitted to them before. My novel, Testing the Prisoner, was also the summer winner in 2024. And so I'll have the link to this website in the notes below the show, but you can see here all of the winners of the contest for summer. And as you scroll down here to this row, third book in, you can see Dreams from the Edge of Reality was the best book for short stories and anthologies this summer. Now, all of these seasonal contests that Pencraft runs, winter, spring, summer, fall, the winners of those four contests are then advanced to best book of the year in each of the categories. So my short story collection here has a chance of winning best book of the year in that category. We'll find that out later on. But for now, I was stunned to wake up this morning. It certainly made for a very nice start to my day to see that announcement. And in fact, they give you this lovely, see if I can pull it up here for you. This, yeah, hello. This lovely little badge, digital badge you can put on your website and social media. They also send you a certificate in the mail along with a bunch of stickers that look exactly like that badge that you can stick on your book or inside your book to sort of promote it. So we'll see what happens with that. But that was nice news to wake up to this morning. I was very thrilled about that. And because I'm sick, I'm going to keep this short. The last thing I have for you is I just signed a publishing contract for my story, To See the Sky Again. It is a steampunk story, and it will be included in an anthology next year, next summer, called Southwatch Stories. Let me just quickly share this with you. I believe I mentioned this book in a previous episode earlier this year, maybe back in January, February timeframe. Southwatch Stories is a steampunk anthology. It all takes place in a shared universe in a fictional city called Southwatch. And it was created by Richard C. White. You can see his name on the cover here. He's a longtime writer friend of mine. He developed the series Bible for Southwatch. It was a 60-page Bible that when he asked me if I was interested and he invited me to write for this, he sent me the Bible. I looked through it and came up with a couple of ideas that I pitched, and one of which became the story To See the Sky Again. And I'm quite thrilled to see my story in this book around this time next year with a bunch of other really incredible writers like Aaron Rosenberg, Robert Greenberger, Dayton Ward, Bobby Nash, a bunch of other folks. Some people have dropped off the project. New writers are coming in, so it's kind of hard to keep track of who's who on this project right now. I guess until the final book is printed and published, then we'll know who the roster of writers are, or the roster is. But I'm thrilled to have a story in this book and thrilled to work with Richard because he's a nice guy and I've known him for many, many years. And I'm looking forward to this. If you're into steampunk, this is my first experience with steampunk, my first time writing it, and I had a blast with it. So it'll be out next Shore Leave. We're going to launch it next Shore Leave number 47 in July of next year. So that's pretty much all I got for you right now. I don't have a whole lot of updates because I said I'm in the middle of renovating my house and I'm still recovering from con crud, and it's just been a busy, busy summer so far. But hopefully in August, I will have some more updates for you. I do have a Halloween anthology coming out, which I'll talk about in August, in my August video. I mentioned it before. It's called Kashmir Ghost and Graveyards at Night. It is a charity anthology that benefits the Allegheny Land Trust to try to preserve public lands. It is going to be out August 31st. It's on pre-order now, so maybe I will talk about it real quick. Just quickly here. It's on pre-order now on Amazon. It will debut, or I should say launch on August 31st, as I said. Let me just pull this up here. There is the beautiful cover. This is a Halloween anthology, but it is not a horror anthology. It is a lighthearted, a little bit of romance, a little bit of comedy, mystery, intrigue, paranormal. but nothing too heavy. No blood and gore horror. That's not the audience that our Mindful Writers Retreat books cater to. So this is more lighthearted, like I said, a little bit literary, maybe some comedy, some paranormal, some romance, etc. In this book. It will be out again August 31st, and all proceeds benefit the Allegheny Land Trust. We may have a book launch for this in Western Pennsylvania in October. I'm not quite sure yet, but I will definitely have copies at my next show in September. I will be at the Witch's Day Out. It's an annual Halloween craft fair in the Lehigh Valley, and it will take place this year on Saturday, September 9th. I could probably pull that up for you to show you that. Let's go here to upcoming events on my website, and I'll share this with you real quick so you can see what's going on with events. Here it is, called Witch's Day Out. It's actually the night market this year. They're doing something a little bit different. They've changed locations because they're growing, which is wonderful. They will be at Cementon Park in Whitehall, Pennsylvania, Saturday, September 19th from 3 to 9. So it's, again, like a night market. And I'll have copies of the Halloween book there, as well as all my other books. So I should have copies by that time. But okay, so that is that is the last update I have for you, and I hope you're having a wonderful summer. And I will probably catch you next month once I'm 100% over this cold and 100% done with these renovations. Oy, alrighty, I'll see you then. Bye.